let you know that they're around in those connections. And so do trust some of those things that you would have heard and felt, even if I wasn't standing and giving you that one-on-one reading. So know and feel your loved ones, especially leaving here today. They will be trying to connect and come around and let you know that they're still with you. So I do know that we went over time. If you guys do still want a Q&A, because if you don't, we don't have to. But if you would like to, then let's do it. Is that okay with everybody? If you can't stay for it, then I understand. But Kayla, you can come on out, and we can do this. Hi, everyone. Do you have it working? Oh my gosh, I'm thirsty. Awesome. Okay.
Guys, how incredible was she?
Oh.
Round of applause.
Thank you. I think I sprained a muscle in my back. I have pain. Anyone here follow me on Snapchat? Anyone? Yeah. And seeing those crazy workouts, I think I did something too crazy yesterday. If you're not following me, Monica the Medium, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, shameless plug, monicamedium.com. Alrighty, so you want to start this then?
Yeah, let's start off with let's lighten the mood a little bit.
Let's lighten the mood.
Sorry.
I know.
Spirit came through a little too strong today, so let's go on with some questions. All right, so some questions that we get a lot is, number one, how did you come to finding out that you're a medium?
All right, so for me, I was intuitive and empathic growing up, but it really wasn't until high school that I started to feel, hear, sense, see, and just like know certain things around people and experience things I just could not explain. It really started with some friends and acquaintances in high school where they would be telling a story of their childhood or somebody that had passed, and I would hear or see the ending of the story before they finished telling it. And I was like, that's weird, like crazy coincidence or, lucky guess, pulled it out of my ass kind of thing. But as it started happening with more and more people and started happening with strangers, I was like, okay, this is not a coincidence. They start crying, being like, how'd you know about my mom? Or how'd you know about my brother? Like, oh my goodness. And so, yeah, it's kind of never stopped after that as I accepted this gift and shared it with more and more people. Been doing it ever since.
All right, another question that we get a lot is, how does spirit interfere with your love life?
That's a good one. You'll see on this season of Monica the Medium that even something like going on a date, I broke the rules that my roommates really, really strongly gave me to no readings on the first date. And I think they were thinking that would mean no giving another person a reading, but even more so, no reading your date. So you'll see me give a reading to this guy on our first date. I never listened. So yeah, it's like, nice to meet you. Like, this was a blind date too. Did not know me, did not know anything about me. And first date, and we're already taking it to that level, and I'm bringing through some of his loved ones. But yeah, so I would say that's probably the biggest thing, is it interferes with your love life when you're constantly like being like, hey, wait, either for them or for someone else. Like, I need to stop and give a reading. And so yeah.
And does spirit ever come through with you? Do you give yourself a reading ever?
People always have that question, and really it's, some people will be like, oh, I'm so jealous of your gift. Like, I would just talk to my grandma all day if I could. And I'm like, I have to connect and communicate with them the same way as everybody else. So I look for the signs and symbols. I look for the dragonflies and rainbows and butterflies and songs on the radio and all that stuff just as much as all of you, because I can feel them around, I can get the signs and symbols, but I can't communicate with my own loved ones the same way I can with other people, because I'm just too close to them. It'd be hard, to not be biased or second guess or question what's coming through based on what I already know or what I would want to hear. So it's just too hard to not separate, Yeah.
Right? Does anyone in the audience have questions they want to bring forward?
Yeah, and we can have the mic runners will bring, and I'll stand up for this one.
All right, we got you right here.
She seems eager. She's eager.
That excitement, we gotta get it.
And just for the record, the questions can't be about your loved ones, because the reading portion of this, otherwise I will be here all day.
Let's try it.
Yeah, personal. It has to be general questions about.
It kind of is, and it's kind of not.
Oh, okay.
I've come a long way to see you.
Uh-huh.
And there's a reason why. Since I've been a little girl, I've got little visions.
Uh-huh.
And it's stronger. And how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
Like, when they were reading here, when they were doing it, no offense, I picked up a lot of stuff that you were saying. I picked up the name Chris. and then in
Oh,
my
that's
mind-
not
and
offensive.
then-
That's great.
And in my mind, I heard a baseball bat,
Yeah.
and then
This is great. Well, let me tell you. What I used to do when I first started to connect to spirit, and when I first really started to accept this gift, what I would do is I would go sit in theaters, or I would sit in other events for other mediums, and I would do exactly what you're doing. Is I would connect at the same time, and I would pick up on things that maybe didn't come through, because every spirit, communicates differently, and there's the spirit dictionary and your frame of reference, so everybody can kind of receive different things based on just the medium. Everyone's different. But what I used to do is just that. I would sit there, and it would be a great way to kind of strengthen my own ability and my own connection and realize, look, I'm not crazy. Like, this is almost like a test to kind of, it's validation for you, to realize that you do have that connection with spirit. And so what I will tell you is that if you're still in that phase of not knowing what to do, like, do you want to explore it, you want to strengthen it?
it gets to the point where it's almost anxiety to like, get that message out. And
Oh,
then
that's
I'm
what
like,
I do.
then
Yeah.
I'm done, okay, I don't have
And then
to
it's like
do
a
it.
release, and you're like, oh, it feels so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then later on, I am dead tired.
Yes.
That night, I'm like, are you serious? What is wrong with me?
Exactly.
And it's gotten, and it gets like to the point where we went to cemetery.
Yeah.
The other day. Oh my gosh.
And it's a lot of
You
energy.
talk about nuts.
Yeah.
We're going through, and I had been there since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there waiting for my grandma's grave, and I started busting out all this stuff. I'm like, how would I freaking know if
Yeah.
my grandmother had yellow flowers?
Yeah.
Or she has, because she was gone before I was born. And
Wow.
like little things and little signs, and it's like, how do you know what
Yeah.
some of these signs are? Because they're in my head and they will not come out.
So I will tell you, even now, and I've been doing this for a couple years now, is there are still times that I will hear, feel, sense, see something that I don't know how to interpret, or it's not part of my spirit dictionary. I don't have a sign or a symbol already associated with it to know what that means to the person that I'm giving a reading to. Really, the best way to develop that spirit dictionary, your frame of reference in your readings, is just through experience. So what I did is coming back, I remember when I first accepted this gift, coming back to the start of the new school year at Penn State, I sit in the hub, which is like where you could, work on your homework, go get a bite to eat, all that stuff. And it would be out of like 40,000 students who ever just lost their mom, or their brother just passed away, or whoever it would be who would just really need it, would happen is end up sitting next to me. I'm like, what are the odds of that? And so I just started giving all these readings, obviously like these free readings every day, like all the time. And over time, I was like, okay, now I know when I see the rosary beads, how to interpret that, or when I see holding in the hand, how to, like, so I was able to just through experience realize, okay, now I'm understanding that spirit brings me that certain image or that word or that feeling when it's connected to X, Y, or Z. Does that make sense? So it helps to kind of ask your friends, like, hey, I don't want to say practice, but like, hey, are you open to this? Because it will help me and have things be clearer for me if I have that experience with you. So
Oh my gosh, I do that all the time. But it'll be talking to me, and I'll get this picture in my head, like,
yeah,
and it'll be like a purple dress. And
Yeah.
I'll sit there, I'll bring it up, and I'll go, I know it sounds corny, but what's up with a purple dress?
yeah,
And then 2 weeks later, my friend got one delivered.
wow.
And
See,
it was like, dude.
it'll make sense over time. And the other thing too is meditation and working on your own energy and kind of quieting your mind will strengthen that connection with spirit. So I'm thinking of doing a little like YouTube series or something, like tips for those like you who are starting to kind of come into your own gifts. To everybody out, you're not the only one. So many people. I think through the show, one of the greatest things it's done is it's starting the conversation amongst like not just people my own age, but of all ages, to not feel awkward to say, oh my God, like, I thought I was crazy, but I experienced that, or I know what that's like. And I think it's really awesome to start to talk about it.
I
Of
appreciate
course.
so much. You talked about a baby boy.
Yeah.
I have a baby boy.
Oh, it's scary.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just, like I said, I appreciate it because
Of
it's
course.
so confusing.
It can be.
You get in your head, and it's like your name with this word, and you're like, seriously?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you cannot.
It'll get easier over time. I promise. But yeah, stay tuned for something. I'll try to help as much as I can as far as things in the future, because I do get that a lot. But if there are any other questions, we do.
Okay. I have a question that we get that I forgot. Okay, how do you balance spirit and like being a college student? Because I know when it comes to partying or studying, I'm like, I'm not gonna go out tonight. gonna be at the party, I drop my books.
Yeah.
Right, so how do you balance reading?
It's hard because there are times, and you know this, that we'll be out at the bar, or we're gonna try to have just a night off and have some fun as 22-year-olds, and then everyone knows now. Like they just, my roommates expect, you know how most girls, if you're out drinking together, one disappears, you automatically assume they got a little too drunk and they're flirting with some guy. No, for them it's like we automatically assume Monica's off giving a reading. So it's a different kind of like, oh, okay, that's what she's up to. But I really think it's just about like over time, like I realized that I can just feel in my heart when I am supposed to take the time to stop what I'm doing to go give a message versus, okay, Spirit, really, like, you know, my lights are turned way off, like, not even flickering a little bit, like, I'm talking, like, shatter the glass, the light bulb, like, I am not on the clock today, like, don't even bother me. So, like, but I can feel the difference of when I'm meant to kind of allow myself to be, quote-unquote, on to go and give that message and receive that from Spirit. So, yeah. What was your question? Can someone give the mic? Yeah. And I know we have, like, 5 minutes, guys. We'll try to get 1 or 2 more.
Hi, Monica.
Hi.
I just had a question. If you have a gift and you want to develop that,
Yeah.
where do you find a mentor if you don't have anybody that's involved in that type of community?
Yeah. Well, what I will say is, like, for me, I didn't really, at least starting out, I didn't have a mentor, so it was hard. Now, through the years, I've met people like Maureen Hancock, James Amprog, who you'll see on this, well, you saw him probably on this episode, yeah, episode 2 that you guys watched. So I've met people who have helped me or mentored me in other ways, but initially starting out, it can be a little hard, and I kind of gone through that when you don't have someone to talk to or get answers from. What I will say is there are other mediums out there. You know, you always want to check off your list of making sure like you feel and trust that they're genuine and make sure that they're not a fraud or con artist or whatever. But if you know, there are mediums that do kind of offer more mentoring and things like that. I know I just don't have the time to do the one-on-one mentoring because I just love so much like the reading part of things, and I try to put more of my time in that. But I am going to do like some sort of workshop, or at least like a day kind of workshop for people to help them kind of go through the things that you're experiencing and how to help you develop and strengthen that. But there's also some good like YouTube videos or even books with other mediums sharing kind of what they've been through and kind of what helped them, I guess you'd say. So check that out too.
Do you have a favorite book that you could recommend?
I love Maureen Hancock's Medium Next Door. Love that. And yeah, I haven't really read that many. So I read her since she's my friend, and I love her. So yeah,
Thank you.
she's great. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Let's do like 2 more. You want to go to one over in the back over here? The girls, the 2 that are raising their hands next to each other. All right. Can you stand up for me? Thanks.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Katharina.
Katharina?
Yeah.
Beautiful name. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so my mom's skeptical, so like, what are some words that like you could like tell skepticals like about your
Skeptical. You're so cute. Can your mom stand up real quick, just so I can see? For you, is it more so like the faith side of things, religion, or just like this is just bullshit? Like, you know, everybody has their difference. My mom, she was always skeptic because of her Catholic background and her faith, and she wasn't skeptic of like not believing that I had this ability. She was just worried, like that's what she was worried about. So what do you think your side of it is?
You know what? Yeah, I'm more close to my religion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm not just believe more like the religion. I just found out that she thinks that about me.
Yeah. Oh, she.
That's hilarious. You know, she's the one who wanted to come. I'm like, okay, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, this is real, but I'm like, I'm not really like into this.
Yeah. Even afterwards, you're still like, eh.
No, I see like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this cannot be like too much.
Yeah.
Coincidence. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you feel a little changed after this
Yeah,
experience?
different, yeah.
Well, I mean, I always say it's like even if you didn't personally get a reading, going to at least get to witness it live and see it can allow you to have a little bit of a transformation. My dad, who actually you'll see on this season, he went to his first event of mine, and after having never even fully heard or witnessed me even give a reading. He then went to seeing me give dozens, a lot of them, and he went through that transformation. So it's like, I think just kind of getting that opportunity to see it is what I'll usually tell skeptics. It's like, go see it for yourself, or, don't lump me in that category of people that do have that negative stigma or that reputation. Like, give me a chance before you kind of,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, now I know, like I say, because I seem like,
Yeah.
these people telling stories about their life
Yeah.
that you didn't even know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be,
Exactly.
like glad,
Yeah. No, and I'm telling you, it's like I said, like Spirit, they always show up. It's kind of like, even though I always say there's some days, if I'm tired or whatever, some days might not be as strong because of whatever I'm going through, but they always show up no matter where I am. So yeah.
Exactly. Well, we just want to congratulate and congratulate you.
Well, thank you so much.
You show all the time. I don't even know. I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
We live far close to Palm Springs, so it took me almost 2 hours to get
Wow.
there.
Oh my gosh.
So, but no, I'm glad, and she wanted to meet you personally. So
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you. And I kept, who came from like Arizona or something? Oh, all of you guys. I wish I could have. I wish I was drawn out. You guys flew? Did you fly here?
We flew.
You all flew?
We drove 8 hours from Tahoe.
Oh my God. I am gonna be like, we do have to clear out the audience after this is done, but if there is a chance for me just at least to give you guys a hug or say hello at the end, if you don't mind waiting, because there's like a kind of a press thing right after this. So everyone, we do have to clear out. I'll try. You're so sweet. At least we'll try to say hello to you. Anyone else fly here? Oh my goodness. Wow. Everyone's like, yes, I flew. Please. Oh, all right. Does anyone have to do one more question, and then we do have to wrap this up. Otherwise, the venue, otherwise, yeah. Yeah, she's right.
I wanted to know how old you were
Yeah.
when you first went to a stranger when you were out at a restaurant or a movie theater and it was the first time
Stranger.
and you never, and this was your first time you were going to approach somebody
Yeah.
different than a friend.
I think I was like 16 years old, and that was like the first time that I had given a message. But then it was I suppressed it for so long, and I would hear and feel and sense things, and I would say things that would connect. But as far as like full on reading was the beginning of college, the summer before. I gave a reading at my old job, Lockheed Martin. I worked there starting as an intern, worked there for a couple years. And and people always say, like, I try to tell them, like, look, I already had a job set up for me after college with this company. Like, I was, totally, like, making good money. Like, for that age, like, I was set with Lockheed and really enjoyed the work I was doing. But I came to a point where I was like, no, I can't be in this technical position, like doing this work in this office when I know so badly I'm drawn to be helping people. And it was kind of the defining moment when I ended up giving a reading to a senior level engineer who was like 58 years old, this guy who doesn't believe in this at all. And he's talking to me, he was talking to me about something, he's like, I know for a fact, like, it just came up in conversation, he didn't even know about me and what I do. He's like, I know for a fact that my father's in hell, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm not in hell, I'm in heaven, I'm in heaven. I'm like, oh, shit, this is intense. And so I remember being like, oh my God, this is going to be so awkward. Like, I'm at work, like, this is a cubicle, people can hear me around. But I ended up connecting to his father and this guy, and I described it, and I was like, your dad's showing me you. This was so clear and specific. Like, even years later, sometimes it's not this clear. And it was, I remember telling this guy, I was like, when you were 18, you found your dad in your backyard in a white shed working on a motorcycle, and he was deceased when you found him. He turns dead white. This guy's like almost 60. He's like, there's nothing out there, there's nothing on Google, there's nothing in the newspaper. Like, no one would have known that. That's something I haven't talked about in 20 years at least. And it's like, for you to say, like, he almost passed out, he almost fainted, and I'm shaking and crying, like, this is the first time I'm really doing a full-on reading to some stranger. And I remember leaving there that day knowing that my life was forever changed after giving those messages. And yeah, so that was probably the first really like intense one that stands out to me.
Thank you for helping people. That's really
Oh, thank you so much. We can do one last question.
Let's go for a guy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, let's change it.
Watch him be like, this was absolutely terrible. I'm really sad. be like, wait a pick up, Kayla.
Sorry, different perspective, okay?
Thank you for the chance.
Yeah.
The one question that I have is when people have young ones, babies, who aren't able to talk, and you give a reading X amount of years later, does that child seem to grow, whether physically or mentally?
It's so the way that with me and how I connect to spirit, when a child, whether it is, it's the soul that's coming through, it's the spirit that's coming through, whether it's miscarriage, termination, stillborn, baby, 5 months, 6, or a toddler, no matter what age range they would have been, and here in the physical world, they come through where I can see, I'll see them as the age that they would have been or whatnot. Like I'll see it like 2 years old, 3, like I can see that, but they can communicate the same way as everybody else, and they see and understand fully. So their soul grows, learns, and matures on the other side. Even if I don't see their physical body look older or whatnot, maybe it does, and that's just the way they come through. I don't know, but I do know for a fact that their soul grows and they learn and they can see, and they are just as much around as anyone else. So please, for anybody with young babies, children, anything like that, I always try to tell them they have a struggle with, they wouldn't have known, or when we die, we watch back our life. We go through a period of life review. So whether you are, this baby or 95 years old, if there were periods of your life where you might not be able to communicate or understand or whatnot here in the physical world, you fully will understand and know just how much your loved ones were around you in the life that you lived, because you get to watch it back once you're in spirit. So they see the bigger picture and they know all and can understand fully. So does that answer your question? Yes. Well, thank you guys so very much, and thank you, Kayla, for doing that. Hey guys, I know I'm not available for this today, but Kayla will be hanging in the lobby if any of you want to get some pictures with her. She's honestly my favorite person in the season. No offense, Krista. She's my favorite in season 2.
Someone catch that on camera?
Oh yeah, exactly. Kayla is just amazing, and oh my god, I love you, Kayla. So thank you for. She just is so helpful. She's like, yeah, I'll come to you. Like, I'll come with you to LA and help you with your event, like last minute. Like, what a great friend. But I want to say thank you. Oh, thank you so much, guys, and I really appreciate all of you guys coming out here today and wishing you all the best. And hopefully, Spirit will come through to you in your dreams tonight and send you those messages and let you know that they're around, because they absolutely are. So with that, everybody, thank you so